Welcome to the mountains, waterways and bloody battlefields of the Balkans. I've come to this beautiful but war-torn region to explore 5 young nations who were all once part of Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia once had a fantastic state-run railway network, but the Balkan Wars of Independence left it in tatters. I plan to travel by rail across these 5 countries. It is so hot! Getting to grips with some weird and wonderful trains. What is it?
It's a train.
It's a train, Jim, but not as we know it. As I try to find out... Oh, my God. Look at that. What happened here? What remains?
Some of my friends, they turned out to be monsters.
And what the future might hold. It's going to be a journey through time as well as space. Why not come along for the ride? My journey across former Yugoslavia begins in Ljubljana, the capital of Slovenia. Slovenia was the first Yugoslav republic to declare itself independent of the crumbling communist regime in 1991. It was the first to join the EU in 2004. It's hard to imagine as you walk around this beautiful, bustling city that it was actually ever anything to do with the communist world. In a city that prides itself on its green credentials, I've got a rather unusual ride to the station. This is great. It's a sort of electric-powered golf cart thingy. It's actually called a cavalier. And apparently in Slovenian that means gentleman, which obviously fits a man of my calibre. And the best thing of all about it, it's absolutely free. But it can be quite hair-raising. I know you don't go very fast, but it's terrifying. There are so many people, and they don't look, they go under your wheels. Have you ever killed anybody?
No.
No.
Thank God, no.
Have you damaged anybody just a bit?
No.
Come on.
No.
Wouldn't you just like to, you know, flatten them a bit?
No.
Go on, you would.
Maybe I'm...
Yeah, good boy. OK, to the station, my good man. Thank you. Right, the first train. Today, I'm following the route of the world's most famous train to Zagreb.
So it's €9.
9?
9?
That's pretty cheap. Look at my bag, travelling in luxury. Right, I think this is my train, 8:25 to Belgrade, stopping at Zagreb. It's not a great train to look at, but maybe it's better inside. Find out. It's a bit niffy. Trouble with these overnight trains, you always get the smell of feet first thing in the morning. Oh dear. The unmistakable early morning whiff of backpacker. But it's quite nice seats. Over the next 6 days, I plan to travel over 1,000 miles across 5 of the countries of former Yugoslavia. This morning, I'm heading to Croatia, reliving the early heydays of international rail tourism as I head to the border with Bosnia. There, I want to find out what remains of the railways in the country worst hit by the Balkan Wars. Before picking up the trail of a historic narrow-gauge railway, on my way to Belgrade, the final resting place of Yugoslavia's most famous leader, Marshal Tito. From there, I'm going to take a train on the spectacular Tito Railway to my final destination in Montenegro. So, 5 countries in 6 days? What could possibly go wrong? Maybe I should have taken out travel insurance. This line was built in the 1860s, when the region was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. and later became part of the revolution in tourism that was the world's most luxurious train, the Orient Express. In the 1930s, the cost of a first-class ticket from London to Istanbul was about £1,500 in today's money. But at least passengers enjoyed uninterrupted travel right across the Balkans. Since the collapse of Yugoslavia, border crossings have apparently become a bit of a headache.
We're at the eastern end of Slovenia now. We're just coming up to the border with Croatia. Kind of weirdly, even though they're both part of the EU, they stop the train here, they change locomotives, and large, burly gentlemen come on board and go through a series of apparently quite stringent passport checks. So I hope they're nice, and I hope they're quite quick.
Hello, okay.
Hello.
Nice photo.
Yeah, check in scanner,
airbrushed.
yes. No, Christopher.
Christopher.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck. Okay.
Thank you, good luck. Nice man. Great big gun, though. Do you think if my passport was out of date, he'd shoot me? There's another one, there's another one. There's gangs of them.
It's a border control.
But it's EU, right?
Yeah, it's a Finnish Schengen.
That's what I hope something's happened.
Yeah, Croatia, not Schengen.
I'll just sit here quietly. This could take some time. After a bit of delay, I've made it to Croatia, and we're approaching the capital. The birth of luxury train travel also created the idea of the great railway hotel. And I've come to Zagreb to visit one of the most spectacular in the world.
Busy, busy. So, I've never been here before in my life. This is Zagreb, apparently one of the great capital cities of Europe.
It's a city rich in art and architecture, dating back to the Austro-Hungarian Empire. In the 1920s, Zagreb became a favourite stopover for passengers off the Orient Express. And this was the place to stay, the Hotel Esplanade.
You'll be Max.
Yes, please.
Chris, how
Welcome
are
to
you?
it.
Manager Max Krizmanic is going to show me around. The Esplanade was built in 1925, when luxury rail travel was starting to boom.
So would you say that this hotel really owes its existence to the Orient Express?
Definitely. And it's still this spirit of the Orient Express is still
Yeah.
here, I have to say.
Can you tell me just some of the famous people who've stayed here over the years?
Louis Armstrong, Vivian Lee, Laurence Olivier, Rolling Stones was here.
Rolling Stones?
Yes.
And did they trash the hotel?
I cannot say something like that. I can
come
just say
on,
that it
a
is
bit.
confidential.
No.
Yeah, sorry.
The Orient Express no longer stops here, but the hotel still evokes its glory days. Although it has had darker days too. During the Second World War, when Croatia was allied to Nazi Germany, the Gestapo adopted the hotel as their headquarters and took a keen interest in its largest and grandest public room, the Emerald Ballroom.
Wow.
Yeah. This is the...
Wow. Does everybody do that? It is
Yes,
amazing.
yes. There is one story about the Gestapo, and they were inviting people here just to listen what they are telling, because if you whisper on this side, they can hear you on the other side very clearly.
That's really weird, isn't it? What a great story. Back behind the station, I'm on the trail of another iconic train. The Croatian Railway Museum is a graveyard for some great locomotives from all periods of railway history, along with some other vehicles that maybe only a real train fan could love. And one very important machine.
This handsome and beautifully maintained steam locomotive was built in Hungary in 1947. It was one of three specially ordered by the Yugoslav government to pull a very special train, the personal conveyance of Yugoslavia's post-war leader, the all-powerful President Josip Tito.
When Tito took control of Yugoslavia after World War II, he used the railways as a way to unite and develop the countries that became part of his communist federation, and his personal train became a symbol of power. For reasons that are pretty obvious, they called it the Blue Train, and with its equally brightly painted, fully equipped carriages, they were reckoned to be the ultimate in railway elegance and luxury. I think my next very modern train would meet with Tito's approval. It's taking me right across Croatia to the border with Bosnia. This is a beautiful air-conditioned modern train built in Croatia. It frequently travels at over 100 miles an hour, but this track was built at the beginning of the 20th century. It was absolutely shattered during the war that ravaged Croatia during the 1990s. Fierce fighting raged round here during the Croatian War of Independence. But the railway has been rebuilt and modernised thanks to an EU grant. And I don't think I'm in any danger now, although this stretch of track we're travelling along now is exactly the spot where the murder in Murder on the Orient Express actually happened, just here. I think I'm all right today, I think I'm safe. I don't think there's any would-be murderers on the train, but as the Croatians say, some of these people are well dodgy. I'm loving these modern Croatian trains, but I have a feeling my journey is about to get a whole lot tougher. Slavonski Brod. This city sits on an ancient border. For centuries, the meeting point of the predominantly Christian Austro-Hungarian Empire and the Muslim Ottoman Empire. Isn't that beautiful? So this is the River Sava. It's a tributary of the Danube. And of course also it's the border. So this is Croatia and over there is Bosnia. And hopefully we're making that crossing tomorrow morning. I'm looking forward to that. Eight o'clock in the morning, day two. We're just crossing the Sava River. There used to be a train service here until about 2013. And now it's stopped and nobody seems to be able to tell me why. With no passenger trains running, today I'm following the route of the railway by car to visit one of the battlefields of the Bosnian War and one of the oldest working trains in Europe on my way to the capital, Sarajevo. Just coming up to the Bosnian border. About 20 years ago, this was a complete no-go.
Dobar dan.
It's okay, but it's still very heavy security. Hello, thank you. In the Croatian War of Independence, something like 20,000 lost their lives. But in the Bosnian War that broke out in April 1992, it's estimated that over 100,000 died and another 2 million were left homeless. Pitting mainly Muslim Bosniaks against Catholic Croats and Orthodox Serbs, the 3-year-long war saw acts of brutality and genocide that caused outrage around the world. My driver, Pavle, is a Catholic who fought on the side of the Bosniaks 20 years ago. The most horrific things were done. Whole villages wiped out and women raped and murdered. Can you forgive that?
I can forgive, maybe, but I will never forget. And, you know, in the future, I will grow up my kid in the way that something like that should never happen again.
One of the Bosnian War's most remarkable battles was fought here in the small town of Gradačac. In October 1992, the town's inhabitants found themselves under attack by heavily armed Bosnian Serbs. The town itself, for defences, really only had a hastily assembled citizens' militia filled with local men with really basic weapons. The Serbs, however, had access to all of the arms and weapons and ammunition from the Yugoslav People's Army. They also had a secret weapon, an unlikely-looking instrument of war, which one of the men who defended the town in 1992 is going to show me. Jacob.
Jackie.
How are you?
How are you?
Chris.
Chris.
So is this the way?
Yes. Okay.
Oh, what? What is it?
It's a train.
It's a train?
It's a train.
It's a train, Jim, but not as we know it. This armoured train was specifically constructed to attack the town of Gradachats. Can I go inside?
Yes.
Oh, it's kind of musty, but it's unreal. Look at these. On the day of the battle, a crew of Bosnian Serb soldiers had a terrifying arsenal at their disposal. Oh, look at all this.
To je posebno vozilo, posebni voz za prevoz artiljerijska posada, znači minobacači, vojnici pucaju, znači puškanica i vojnici pucaju tako tu. Tu. Tako da odavde su minobacači. Pogledajte samo ovaj oklop koji je bio ovdje, znači prvi sloj 10 mm, potom građevinski šljunak, onaj građevinski materijal između toga. Ponovo oklop, ponovo rudarska guma, taj dio, ponovo sedmični građevinski materijal i još jedan oklop tamo.
That's incredible. It just looks impregnable, doesn't it?
Jednostavno bio je problem kako da se uništi ovakav oklop, jer je stvarno čvrsto, stvarno tvrđava na pruzi, stvarno tvrđava na pruzi.
Rifles, machine guns, even mortars had little hope of defeating the armoured train. Jakub and his comrades had one small chance, a tank they'd captured from the Serbs, but with very little ammunition.
Bilo je 3 samo protivoklopne pancirne i sve 3 su pogodile ovaj voz tako da je ga maknuo sa pruge.
So this is where the third and most important shell landed?
Da, tu je pogodila jedna od granata, kad je pogodila, znači tu je pogodila u podnožje ovog voza i maknula ga sa šina, znači spao je sa tračnica. Ovaj dio vojnika ovdje bio je eliminisan od detonacije, tako da on više nije mogao da se kreće i jednostavno smo ga tad u tom momentu konačno zaustavili i voz više nije makao odavde.
A true David and Goliath story and an important victory on the road to Bosnian independence. We're on our way to a place called Banovici, which is a coal mining town, and there's something there apparently that train spotters would go wild to see. That is such a great sight, but unlike most steam trains that people still see these days, hauling tourists, what they call heritage trains, that is actually a working steam train. Every day that pulls hundreds of tons of coal from a massive nearby coal mine. Time to get my hands dirty. Hello. I've been invited to join up as assistant fireman for the day. I'm Chris. What's your name?
Shamil.
Shamil. Yes. And what's his name?
His name Arles.
Okay. Are we good to go? This wonderful old loco is nearly 70 years old. It was built in Slavonski Brod in 1949. You may have noticed we're going backwards. That's because this train is so busy and they haven't got time to do the old big turn thing, so they go up that way, they're back again, and then they fill it up, and then they go back again. They do that back and forth all day. At the moment we're going back, but later on we might go forth. This and 5 other locos make regular runs up this 4-kilometre stretch of track every day. I've been wondering why they still use steam trains here, but the answer is staring me in the face. There's coal here everywhere you look, everywhere you touch. They get through dumper truck after dumper truck on this train every single hour of every day. But they cannot begin to dent the company's profits because, unlike a tourist train, they've actually got their own personal coal field. With so much coal to burn, better roll my sleeves up and get stuck in. In 45 minutes, they get through 3 tons of coal. 3 tons. I've just been telling the driver how rubbish his football team are, but it went down really badly. I don't know why. It's a real down-to-business, no-frills operation. They don't even waste time going round the local town.
As you can see, the train runs right through the middle of the town. And you'd think people might get a bit fed up with the coal, the soot, the noise, the smell. But actually, they don't, because pretty much everybody in the town is employed by the coal company.
It is a wonderful railway. It feels like a step back into the past, but it works. It simply works. And they may well be using steam trains here for another 70 years.
So that's the end of this journey. I really enjoyed that. The train, all the contents, all the tonnage is going to have to be sorted. I think I'm probably going to go off for a bath. Oh! Hey!
Day 3, I've made it to Sarajevo. Bosnia's capital started life in the 15th century as an Ottoman stronghold. On the front line between East and West, it's always been a place of religious and nationalistic tension. Never more so than in April 1992, when Bosnian Serb forces started shelling the city from the surrounding hills, launching a siege that lasted for more than 3 years. A key role was played in the survival of the city by the 120-year-old electric tram system. I'm meeting one of the survivors of the siege to find out what she experienced.
Farida!
Author and poet Farida Durakovic was forced out of her home at the start of the siege, but remained in Sarajevo for the next 3 years.
When you realised the city was under siege, did you ever imagine how long it would last?
No, no, God forbid. You know, if I knew that it would be siege, if I knew that it would last for 3 years, I would probably have killed myself. Some of my friends, whom I loved dearly, they turned out to be monsters. I saw people killed by sniper on the street, but I was lucky enough not to get shot.
These trams are very much part of the look of Sarajevo, but were they running during the siege?
Yeah, whenever there was electricity in the city, you know, trams ran around Sarajevo.
Many trams were destroyed, others were used as shelters from the shelling and snipers. And they became a symbol of freedom.
So the trams were important to all of you?
Absolutely. It probably sounds foolish today, but it was so important.
While Bosnian trams are still much loved, their railways, it seems, are not. But there is apparently at least one train running today.
This is the railway station at Sarajevo. There used to be a very regular service here, lots and lots of trains, but in recent years more and more of them have just stopped running because there's not a huge demand. But we should have one in about 20 minutes' time. And it's supposed to be quite a nice journey, so I'm looking forward to it. Hello.
Hello?
Mostar, one way, single?
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
12
How much?
12 marks.
12
Yes.
marks. Okay, thank you. This is now the third lot of currency, different currency I've had to handle in 4 days. I'm completely bewildered, and apparently there are 2 more currencies before we finish this trip.
Sarajevo's Soviet-style station survived all the shelling and bombing of the siege more or less intact, but it's suffered a few indignities since.
Oh, I was thinking this station needed a coat of paint, but look at all this. If you'd given the graffiti artists of Sarajevo a lifetime supply of paint and a government grant, you could not have done more graffiti on these walls. Oh, dear.
But as the old saying goes, you should never judge a railway by its graffiti-spattered underpass.
Oh, actually, no, I didn't expect this. Is a really nice, bright, shiny, modern-looking train. If it's my one. Look at this, nice comfy seats. Look at this. Breathing lights, TV on the ceiling. Oh,
All we need now is a licensed bar, and I think I'm in heaven. This train might be the start of a recovery like the one I saw in Croatia. And there's a good reason they've chosen this route to run it on. We're travelling 80 miles down to Mostar through some of the most spectacular scenery in Europe. My journey is taking me into the heart of Herzegovina, Bosnia's southernmost province. The line was constructed in 1891 and follows the spectacular Neretva River Gorge. The track perches on the sheer cliffs, dotted with tunnels and bridges. I must say, it's a beautiful, shiny, new, non-alcoholic train, and the views all the way to Mostar are stunning. I'm coming to Mostar to see one of the most famous bridges in the world. An iconic monument of the Ottoman Empire, a symbol of Muslim Bosnia, which was ruthlessly destroyed in the Bosnian War. All the bars and restaurants absolutely packed, but a lot of people moving all in the same direction, in the same place I'm going to. We're all here to see Mostar's brilliantly reconstructed Ottoman bridge. This is incredible. This is an exact replica of the bridge that was completely demolished in the first weeks of the Bosnian War. They spent 15 million US dollars rebuilding this bridge, so it's almost as good as new. It's really quite emotional for everybody up here. It's a symbol of Bosnia's determination to rise from the ashes after that terrible, terrible war. It's just wonderful. Back in the car again this morning on our way to the next railway in Serbia. Just driving round, in spite of all the rebuilding, there's still so many bullet-riddled, bomb-damaged buildings. It just shows what a pounding this city took, and also how long these scars take to heal. Today I'm following the route of the original Bosnian Eastern Railway, from Bosnia into Serbia. At the border, I hope to find one section of that railway still running before I head on to Belgrade, the capital of Serbia and of Tito's Yugoslavia. We just waited across the Bosnia-Serbia border. I spotted this. This railway line used to be a really busy, long-distance line running all the way from Sarajevo right through to Belgrade. And in Marshal Tito's heyday, trains used to run along here 15 times in a single day. Now they hardly ever run at all. There is just one small, short stretch into Serbia that we're going to have a look at. The line closed in 1974, but 25 years later, its most spectacular mountain section was rebuilt. Apparently with the help of a film director who was shooting a movie up here. Mokradora station here, right in the hills in Serbia. Beautiful station and great excitement, as you can see. This is one of the very few trains that ever run along this line, and it's a steam train. So I'm going to travel in these rather elegant carriages. How nice. Cut that a bit fine, we're off. What a great little train. This afternoon, my fellow passengers and I are going to be enjoying some extreme railway mountaineering. This stretch of track, originally constructed in the 1920s, climbs to the top of the Shargan mountain. And rail fans know it as the Shargan 8. This is basically a really steep incline. It goes up about 300 metres, and trains really don't like going uphill, so the engineers devised a way of doing a big figure of 8 thing round and round and round to get up to the top. And it's beautiful all the way up. There's a real elegance to this wonderful old railway line, but it was an absolute nightmare to build. A workforce of up to 5,000 men laboured away on it for 4 years. They had to carve 22 tunnels out of solid rock to get this railway completed to the top, plus numerous bridges over different gorges and ravines all the way up. They also got through an enormous amount of railway track. It's only actually 3.5 kilometres from the bottom station to the top as the crow flies, but to complete the line successfully, they had to lay more than 15 kilometres of line. It's a hell of a piece of engineering.
Even so, it's still hard work for an ageing locomotive, which seems to be having a spot of bother. The technical expression now is we've stopped. Don't actually know what's happening. Somebody's saying they're cooling down because the engine's overheating, but I don't know. There's a very thin line between cooling down and breaking down. I don't really associate these great big monkey wrenches with normal cooling down. Or hammers. That's always essentially the cooling down process. It's very pretty here. It's a lovely place to spend the night, I suppose, in Serbia. We're all in the hands now of our burly engine driver, a man of few words, but many spanners. He's got a bigger spanner out and looked very confident, so... Oh, no, coming back out. Hang on. He's smiling. Smiling, but he's not happy. But he's smiling. He also hates television people. He's only met one in his life and he hates him. 20 minutes later... I think it's mended. The extra big spanner did the trick. And we're going. Yes, good. So carry on up the hill. I think we've made it. What a beautiful train. Although I suspect not all Serbian trains will be as nice. No, they won't. Nice sunny morning, very basic commuter train. We're on our way to Belgrade, which of course is the old capital of Yugoslavia, now the capital of Serbia. It was Marshal Tito's headquarters. I want to find out a little more about the man that led communist Yugoslavia for 37 years. His famous personal train and the famous railway that he built right across the country. Oh, yes! Belgrade, the capital steeped in history. Slobodan. Slobodan?
Yes, exactly. That's what we mean.
How are you, my man?
Nice to meet you.
This is my Yugo.
Slobodan is taking me to see the sights in his 1970s Yugo, one of those Eastern Bloc cars that were rather mocked around the rest of the world. They have them in the circus like this and they call them Yugos. They do when the clouds come in.
Yeah, they do call them
Usually
Yugo.
that door falls off. Oh, the throaty roar. The power. I can feel the G-force on my cheeks. Slobodan runs so-called Yugo nostalgia tours around the city for people fascinated by former Yugoslavia. Many Serbians are also re-evaluating Tito and the communist era as a bit of a golden age. What about Tito?
Tito? Oh.
What do people think now, looking back about Tito?
He had his flaws, he was a dictator, but if it is possible to say a good kind of dictator, that's what he was.
His memory is certainly revered. Marshal Tito, the all-powerful leader of Yugoslavia, was laid to rest in this tomb, which is now part of a much larger museum dedicated to his memory, on the 8th of May 1980. What followed was the largest state funeral in history. 4 kings, 22 prime ministers, 31 presidents and 47 foreign ministers all came to pay their respects, and thousands of mourners came from all over Yugoslavia.
Tito's body was brought to Belgrade from Slovenia on board his famous blue train, which I really want to see, but I'm not sure I'm in the right place. I don't know about this place at all. See those three locomotives up there, and they do look like the pictures of Tito's own locomotive, but they've got big holes in them, rust, brambles going through them. And where are the carriages that were famously enjoyed by so many world leaders? Oh my God. Look at that. Look at that. This is it, the original blue train, and it looks perfectly preserved. World leaders everywhere, Haile Selassie, the Shah of Iran, Brezhnev, Queen Elizabeth with Philip, and Princess Anne behind. Beautiful wood everywhere. Sorry, madam. Look at this, there has to be a bar, doesn't there? Can you imagine the world leaders who have sat here? Pint of lager and a bag of crisps. How cool. Lovely rugs and carpets. They've even upholstered this bit between the carriages. It's amazing. Now look at this. This really does beat your British Rail buffet car into a cocktail, doesn't it? Just look at that. God, he knew how to party, didn't he, Tito? And we're travelling tonight, overnight, on a sleeper. And it won't be anything like this. It's not quite the blue train, but in the morning when we wake up, we should be in our final country. If it's the right train, we should be in Montenegro. It may not be the blue train, but this is Tito's railway. What have we got? Oh, we've got a little wash bay. It's quite nice. A legendary engineering achievement that runs from here 300 miles down to the seaside. It's not too bad. It wasn't looking great outside, I must admit. Oh, we're off as well. All the really good stuff is in the morning, apparently, so it's an early night for me. People always talk about nights on a sleeper train as if it's very romantic. I had an absolutely awful night's sleep. Anyway, I think we've just pulled in, and I think we are now in Montenegro. Oh, it's a bit chilly. It started off so hot at the beginning of this. It's about 10 degrees. Oh, look, we're in Montenegro. Look, you see, Dom Grossly, welcome. We're in Montenegro. Yes, all right. Okay, I'm coming. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Overnight, we travelled all the way down through Serbia. Today, the mighty mountains of Montenegro lie ahead, and a hair-raising descent from over 3,000 feet down to the port of Bar. This is one of the steepest, most dangerous railways in the world. Conceived in the early days of communist Yugoslavia, this railway was Tito's grand project to connect his capital with the Adriatic. It was to be a major freight line with Bar as Yugoslavia's new gateway to the outside world. But it took 23 years to complete and had claimed the lives of more than 100 men by the time it opened in 1976. Such was the challenge of negotiating Montenegro's towering terrain. Montenegro is one of the most mountainous countries on Earth. There are 254 tunnels and 435 bridges on this stretch of rail. It's going to be a roller coaster ride from here. And I've been invited up to the cab for a VIP view, complete with complimentary snacks. They're strange people, they frown a lot, but actually these two guys were really nice. He's just offered me his breakfast. It tastes like a wrestler's jockstrap, but I have to smile because, thank you. Lovely, thank you very much. We said there are a lot of tunnels on this line. Look at this. This is just one of a couple of hundred. Amazing piece of engineering. This is so rocky, this whole area. And the engineers just had to blast their way through, one after the other. I'm turning into a bat, but when you come out, there is the most beautiful countryside. Halfway through the mountains, we've reached the highest railway bridge in Europe, the 650-foot-high Mala Rijeka Viaduct. Oh!
Oh, unreal. Look at that. This is what we came to see. How scary is this? There's 36,000 cubic meters of concrete there to protect us and 100,000 tons of steel. So I should be reassured, but I'm not. You can just see the Mala Rijeka River right down at the bottom of the gorge. Just look down that. Both sides are just so scary. From here, the big descent begins. Back there at the top, just above the viaduct, something like 1,000 metres. When we get down to Podgorica, it's only about 50 metres above the Adriatic, so it really is a steep incline. And these guys now are under quite a lot of strain, as indeed am I. In 2006, 44 people were killed when a train derailed on this stretch of track. The driver was found guilty of not following the correct braking procedures. Really braking out. No wonder our guy's calming his nerves with a crafty fag. But we've made it. And our driver can finally relax and put his foot down. Seaside, here we come. Bar never really did make it as Tito's gateway to the world, but it looks like a very pretty place. We've done it. That has been quite a journey. So, this place is called Bar, the town of Bar. Our journeys always end in a bar. That's been an incredible journey from Ljubljana right across to the Adriatic. We travelled on some amazing trains, seen some stunning scenery, seen some still war-ravaged cities, and the people here have seen the very worst of what man can do to another man. But above all, I've sensed a real spirit and a determination that nothing like this should ever happen again.